It is not possible for women to be free, nor to be realistic about the state of female existence in a man-made world, nor to struggle against those forces that are waged against us all, nor to win if we do not have a vision of female friendship. This is the conviction that motivates Janice Raymond's book, A Passion for Friends, toward a philosophy of female affection. Janice defines female friendship as a relation in which women are primary to each other. Heteroreality does not countenance such a relation. In heteroreality, a woman is for a man. She exists in order to become his, and in becoming his, she is realized as a woman. A woman who is without a man is therefore alone. She may be with other women, but as it is men, not women, who complete her, she is alone. Insofar as heteroreality is reality, female friendship cannot exist. Janice seeks to refute this, to show that it can, in part by showing that it has. She says, women have been friends for millennia. Women have been each other's best friends, relatives, stable companions, emotional and economic supporters, and faithful lovers. But this tradition of female friendship, like much else in women's lives, has been distorted, dismantled, destroyed. In summary, to use Mary Daly's term, dismembered. She then attempts to demonstrate this by engaging in what she terms a genealogy of female friendship, a charting of the history of female friendship. She sees female friendship among nuns in convents and among the Chinese marriage resistors. Janice theorizes female friendship because she believes that a vision of female friendship is necessary to the liberation of women in various ways. Feminists have devoted their energy to theorizing women's oppression, to representing, quote, the structure of the world as men have created it for women, unquote. In doing so, they identify that against which they are fighting. They fail, however, to identify that for which they are fighting. Without a vision of that for which they are fighting, without a vision of a feminist future, feminists cannot truly alter the present. Change may occur, Janice says, but perhaps only for a limited time, and only on levels that do not really shake the foundations of heteroreality. I think Janice may be understood as saying that without a vision of an alternative reality, feminists cannot move beyond this reality. Without a vision of who women might yet become, feminists must resign themselves to who women at present are. As Richard Rorty says, the most efficient way to expose or demystify an existing practice would seem to be by suggesting an alternative practice, rather than criticizing the current one. Why is a vision of female friendship a vision of an alternative reality? Because I think it is a vision of women as primary not to men, but to women. Janice suggests that feminism remains enthralled to heteroreality, for in seeking the equality of women with men, it conceives of women in relation to men. Such a feminism cannot create a world in which men are not the standard against which women are to be measured, in which men do not dictate who women must be, in which men are not the origin of who women are. Insofar as the oppression of women lies not merely in men's treatment of women, but in the fact that women invented by men are unself-determining on the most fundamental level, a feminism that cannot create a world in which men are not the origin of who women are is a feminism that cannot liberate women. As Marilyn Frye says, if we have no intuition of ourselves as independent, unmediated beings in the world, then we cannot conceive ourselves surviving our liberation. For what our liberation will do is dissolve the structures and dismantle the mechanisms by which woman is mediated by man. If we cannot imagine ourselves surviving our liberation, we certainly will not make it happen. Janice's genealogy of female friendship may be understood as an attempt to conceive women unmediated by men, so that, able to imagine surviving our liberation, we shall have the courage to pursue it. Female friendship is thus an end in itself. This is a novel view. Often feminists speak of female friendship or female community as though it is a purely instrumental value, as though we ought to practice it or perhaps even to endure it, only in order to secure a good beyond it. Marilyn Fry, for instance, suggests that female community is significant because it allows women to redefine woman. Although I experience this novel view as revelatory, I cannot articulate precisely what it reveals. Perhaps it reveals the extent to which we have failed to think ourselves without men, an extent such that we have not conceived of female friendship or women's primariness to women as sufficient. Although for Janice, female friendship is an end, it is also a means. She speaks of, quote, the necessity of female friendship as a foundation for and a consequence of feminism. She pictures female friendship as both feminism's point of departure and feminism's point of arrival. She says, quote, friendship gives women a point of crystallization for living in the world. It gives form, shape, and a concrete location to women who have no state or geographical homeland and, in fact, no territorial ghetto or diaspora from which to act. Friendship provides women with a common world that becomes a reference point for a location in a larger world. Women, unlike other minority groups, have neither homeland nor ghetto. They have no piece of the world that is their own. Female friendship functions as such a piece. Notice that Janice emphasizes that female friendship provides a world within the world. She is critical of women's dissociation from the world. Here, she may be seen to depart from feminist separatists insofar as they advocate withdrawal from the world. A woman who withdraws, Janice says, renounces her rightful share of the world and fails to impinge on the dominant male ethos. And in exchange, she gains only, quote, the illusion that she can retreat into an undisturbed time and space where a semblance of freedom can be preserved. I think this is an important point. Insofar as the world continues to belong to men, women's withdrawal from it is contingent on men's whim. So whatever freedom women gain is illusory. Unlike separatism as withdrawal, female friendship allows women to, quote, live in the world as men have defined it, while creating the world as women imagine it could be, unquote. In place of an explanation of how exactly it so allows women, Janice says only that friendship does not automatically convey the means of living in the world or of making women into world builders, but it does provide a location in that world. Perhaps by allowing women to be responsive to women rather than men, female friendship provides women with a reference point beyond a point of purchase for a critique of heteroreality. Perhaps it thus undermines the realityness of heteroreality. Janice's conception of female friendship is admittedly highly abstract. What is it for a woman to be a good friend to another? What conditions must obtain in order for female friendship to exist? Is a physical women-only space a necessary condition for the existence of female friendship? It is abstract, I think, because it is, as any attempt to envision what heteroreality precludes must be, groping. What female friendship is not, however, is clearer. It is not therapy. Janice identifies an obstacle to female friendship in what she terms the tyranny of feelings. This is the phenomenon of overvaluing feelings and of constantly obsessively divulging them to therapists, to friends, to the public. This phenomenon is apparent in society at large, but it is positively embraced in the women's movement. Consider, for example, the practice of consciousness raising, a practice in which women share the details of their intimate lives with other women. Janice says, the women's movement, like society at large, has fast become a therapeutic society where self-exposure ranks as one of the highest virtues. I must say, I think this is only truer now. What is Me Too? Women tweeting their experiences of sexual assault, if not women engaging in what Janice terms massive psychological stripteases that fragment and exploit the inner life. Janice sees women as substituting feminist therapy for female friendship in the sense of purchasing friendship from a therapist. I would suggest that women are substituting therapy for friendship in the sense also that they are treating their friends like therapists. Female friendship cannot be the perverse practice of women telling other women their feelings, or women listening to other women tell their feelings, for such a practice is entirely inward-looking and can therefore result only in either dissociation from the world or assimilation to it. Dissociation if one never turns one's attention to the world of heteroreality. Assimilation if the act of divulging affords the temporary relief that allows women to feel at one with the world. Such a practice reinforces women's worldlessness, a term Janice takes from Hannah Arendt. As female friendship is not therapy, nor is it tolerance. Janice observes within the women's movement a dogma of tolerance, of women tolerating other women's values. This dogma treats one woman's criticism of another woman's values as the former's imposition of her values on the latter, and this imposition as necessarily wrongful. This dogma allows oppressive values to go uncriticized. It also undermines women's ability to discern. It also, I would suggest, thwarts female friendship, for it demands of women in the name of friendship their tolerance, their indulgence of other women's values or accounts. Friendship as indulgence cannot reorient women as female friendship probably does. The imperative of female friendship is not that women function as therapists for other women, nor that they indulge other women. It is, Janice says, that women be equal to our vital womanist selves, equal to the task of creating a woman-centered existence.